Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving deep into a complete end-to-end playbook for building enterprise-grade AI. This isn't just theory, it's a practical, battle-tested guide that'll take you all the way from that initial spark of an idea to making a real-world impact. Let's get right into it. Okay, so here's how we're going to tackle this. We've broken the entire playbook down into 6 distinct stages, covering the whole life cycle. We'll start with strategy and design, move through the nitty-gritty of implementation and deployment, and finish up with monitoring and iteration. This is the complete roadmap. Now, to make this all feel really concrete, we're not just going to talk concepts. We're actually going to follow 2 real-world enterprise AI projects, all the way from the drawing board to full production. So, on one hand, we've got a classic predictive AI project, a telecom churn model designed to tackle a huge revenue problem. And on the other, we have a cutting-edge generative AI assistant built from the ground up to deliver fast, compliant, and, most importantly, trustworthy answers. 2 very different challenges, but as you'll see, they're both solved using the same core playbook. All right, let's kick things off with stage 1, strategy and design. Before a single line of code gets written, you absolutely have to nail down the why and the how. This is the foundation everything else is built on. Get this wrong, and nothing else matters. For our churn project, the why is just incredibly clear and powerful. We're talking about a $120 million annual problem. A number that big gets everyone aligned, from the data scientist all the way to the CFO. It's the kind of crystal clear business case that doesn't just get a project greenlit, it gets it prioritized. Now, for our AI assistant, the how is all about the RAG pattern, retrieval augmented generation. And let me be clear, this isn't just a tech choice, it's a critical business decision. By grounding the AI's answers in a verified knowledge base of internal documents, you basically eliminate the risk of hallucinations. For any enterprise, that's everything. It means ensuring every single response is accurate and compliant. Okay, so this slide is basically the blueprint for that RAG system. Think of it like an assembly line for generating trustworthy answers. First, you ingest your internal documents, policies, regulations, you name it, and you chunk them up. Then, you create vector embeddings of those chunks and load them into a vector database. When a user asks a question, the system retrieves only the most relevant chunks. And finally, this is the magic, you feed those chunks and the original question to an LLM like Claude 2 to generate a precise, cited answer. Okay, with a rock-solid design in place, it's time to get our hands dirty. Welcome to stage 2, where we stop talking and start building the engine. This is all about implementation, building the data pipelines and turning that architectural blueprint into a real working system. For the churn project, the team is using this classic data refinery pattern. You might have heard of it, the bronze, silver, and gold tiers. Raw data lands in S3 as the bronze layer. Then, Spark cleans and transforms it into a structured silver layer. Finally, it's aggregated into a gold layer of ML-ready features into Feature Store. For any engineering team, this tiered approach is brilliant. It ensures data quality, makes your pipelines reproducible, and creates a super clean separation of concerns. And I love this slide because it really shows the different toolkits in action. You've got the predictive team using these battle-tested workhorses like XGBoost and MLflow. And then you have the generative team on a more modern stack with LangChain and FastAPI. But here's what's really key. Look at the common ground. Both teams rely on foundational tools like Spark, S3, and Docker. It just goes to show how even specialized AI work still builds on a solid engineering core. Right, so all that engineering effort has to pay off somewhere, and it has to be measurable. For the churn model, that magic number is the AUC score. Hitting 94.2% wasn't just a good number, it was the go-no-go signal. It was the hard data that validated the entire approach and proved the model was ready for production. Now with Gen AI, there's always this tension, right? Performance versus cost. And check out this brilliant engineering trick they used. Instead of getting stuck choosing between the more powerful Sonnet model and the much cheaper Haiku model, the team used both. A simple feature flag routes complex queries to Sonnet and simpler ones to Haiku. That one move, just a simple bit of routing logic, cut their per-query costs by over 70%. That's a massive win. Building a model in a Jupyter notebook, that's kind of the easy part. The real challenge? Getting it into production, reliably, safely, and at scale. So let's dive into stage 3, testing and deployment. This testing matrix right here is just a masterclass in quality assurance. And what's super interesting is how the goals differ. For the churn model, they're testing for statistical precision on a holdout set and raw prediction latency. But for the RAG assistant, the key metric is a RAG-S score on a golden data set of legal questions. They have to prove its answers are factually correct before it ever sees a real customer. And this is how you automate the whole thing. For any engineer watching, this CI/CD pipeline is pretty much the dream. A simple code commit to GitHub triggers the entire workflow. Automated builds, testing, the whole shebang. It uses a canary rollout, starting with just 5% of traffic to a multimodal endpoint. And if all the metrics look stable, it automatically promotes to 100%. That is modern MLOps done right. Okay, so the model is live. But deployment isn't the finish line. Nope, it's really the starting line. Welcome to Stage 4, Monitoring and Governance. This is where you make sure the AI performs as expected in the messy real world, and that it stays healthy, honest, and compliant. And a massive piece of governance, especially in the enterprise, is explainability. It's not enough for your model to be right. You have to be able to prove why it made a certain call. So for every single prediction, the team uses tools like SHAP to log the top 5 most important features. This creates a bulletproof audit trail. When regulators or stakeholders ask questions, you have the answers ready to go. And when we say monitor, we mean you monitor everything. Think of it like a live dashboard for the AI's health. It's tracking not just technical stuff like latency and error rates, but also statistical model drift and, most importantly, the core business KPIs. And here's the crucial part. It has automated alerts. If accuracy drops by more than 2% or costs spike by 20%, the on-call engineer gets paged immediately. And that brings us to the final and maybe the most important play in the book. Iteration. Because a production AI system is never really done. It's a living, breathing product that has to constantly evolve and improve. This is the loop of continuous improvement. See, the system is designed to never be static. Every single month, an automated pipeline kicks off. It retrains the model on all the fresh data that's come in, creating a new challenger model. This challenger is then A/B tested against the current live champion model, and it only gets promoted to production if it can prove with data that it's better. This is how you guarantee the model's value only goes up over time. Okay, so let's pull it all together. What are the key takeaways from this entire playbook? If you remember anything, remember these 5 plays. 1. Start with a real business problem and clear KPIs. 2. Design for the entire lifecycle, not just for a model in a notebook. 3. Automate everything. Your testing, your deployment, your retraining. 4. Monitor both your model metrics and your business impact. And 5. Govern for fairness, explainability, and compliance. That's it. That's the playbook for enterprise AI success. So there you have it, a proven end-to-end strategy for taking an AI idea and turning it into real enterprise impact. We've given you the playbook. Now the only question left is, what are you going to build?